I can talk. I can talk. Okay. My origin story in getting into design and with Live Well Design really goes back to childhood. So I remember having my Barbies out in my little Barbie house, and all the girls that I would play with, they would be making believe and like using their dolls. And I just remember thinking, like, why are we pretending? Let's just get them dressed and organize the house. And so I remember that. And then within my childhood home, I remember when my parents finally let me move into the basement. And that was a laundry room and also our storage, but it was a large room that I turned into my bedroom. And so I got to design that. And I remember putting collages up on the wall and the rugs and rearranging things. And then that was kind of like the start to so much of what I did. I had a lot of places that I lived in my early 20s and a lot of roommates and a lot of interesting living situations, more basements and laundry rooms. And so I just always noticed that there was like this craving to make the space beautiful and to make it feel good. After moving to Colorado Springs in my adult life, and it was during the shutdown actually that I started Live Well Design during the pandemic. And I was pregnant and living in our builder grade home that I thought we'd only be in for a couple years, but as it turned out, we were there longer. And so I remember feeling like itchy inside of my skin and thinking, I've got to do something to change this space if I'm going to be here. I felt stuck at home. And so I started with getting on the phone with a design consultant that I was friends with. And I remember when I was talking to her and consulting with her, I thought, I'm going to take notes because I think I'm going to start doing this at some point. And so I renovated our whole downstairs living area and turned it into exactly something that brought me life, brought me energy, and transformed the space. It doesn't look anything like it did before. And that's where Live Well Design kind of launched from. And I realized, oh, I'm not the only one feeling this way, and I want to help people. So really that's like the story behind Live Well Design is helping people live well wherever they dwell, because we live in a lot of different places.
You said that it originated from being stuck at home and feeling stuck. And I think that during that time, a lot of people were feeling that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love how you were like, no, let's
Mm-hmm.
make it beautiful. Let the space support me in this. And I think that that was what a lot of people were feeling during
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Yes. Yeah. And we can keep ourselves really busy, right? And distracted. And that when we actually had that time to slow down and be confronted with some of those things, there was some of that realization. And that's realization of like, oh, I don't love this. Or this is what I hear a lot, like, I've always wanted to do this. Right. And it kind of gave us permission. I know people talked about like, I was going to see what it was like not to dye my hair because nobody was going to see me. You know, it's like you could just play around and see what came of that. So,
And I love that because part of our style philosophy at 719 Style is interior design. And we look at it as like it's a projection of your inner world. And for
mm-hmm,
you to really step into that authority, like you said, that
mm-hmm.
permission piece of like, yes, this belongs, or no, it does not, or what crosses the threshold. And I think that there's so much power in interior design and
Yes.
making those decisions and stepping into that authority.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not, I mean, for ourselves, right? So not only for ourselves, but that's part of what I love is to come alongside my clients and say, you are allowed. You're allowed to do this, right? We have a lot of voices living in our minds from childhood, from what others said, from a magazine we saw, our neighbors' homes. And it's like, nobody else lives here except for you. And so I'll always come back to this. Like, I do believe that good design has the power to transform the world. And if we can just work on our own interiors in our hearts, that will reflect out into the world and will just emanate this love that changes everything. I put on what I call my design detective hat, And as they're casually sharing or doing things, in their living room or kitchen, wherever we're redesigning, I'm watching and listening and taking a lot of mental notes. And I'm really listening to who they are, how that space isn't serving them anymore, what they love about the space, what's important to them. And usually people come to me when they're like evolving, like when something's getting ready to shift. And so I have, client right now who's they're ready to kind of make things beautiful because they want to age in place in their home. And so it's like their final design, in a way. Or I have sometimes it's because of hardship, right? We have a communal space that needs to be renovated because of some sanitary reasons. And so that was a shift already, time to change things. So I'm usually listening to what that shift is or what that evolution is for the client, and then I just start asking questions to get them to say what they really love, like what are the colors you gravitate towards? What are the elements that really speak to you? Um, how do you how do you want to feel when you walk into this space? That tells a lot, right? I posted that question on social media the other day. Like, if your home could speak to you when you walk in, what would it say? And for me, mine would say like, "Girl, relax, welcome home, and you don't have to put on any fronts. You can just be held here." And so that's the goal for me is getting to know the client and like what they need for their season of life.
Now, I love that you said evolution, and it kind of mirrors your own experience where you just had a baby,
Yes.
going through,
Yep.
and the whole world was going through
Yes.
that thing.
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you? Because it seems like there's perhaps an evolution in your own life that kind of
Mm-hmm.
led you down to this.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that until now, actually. So, yeah, because I wasn't my own client, I wasn't really listening, but it's very true. Um, I think instinctually, as a mother, I wanted, it's called nesting for a reason. We watch the birds, create this safe space where their babies can be held and nurtured and where they can teach them as well. And so, for me, I had recognized my space was draining me. Like the colors on the wall literally felt like they were sucking the life out of me. But I was tolerating it because sometimes we tell ourselves, well, I'm going to move soon. I'm not going to invest here. And even though I personally knew better than that, I still was in that. And sometimes it's not until we reach a place where we're willing to change. We have to be fed up and say, yeah, it's time, and listen to that. So I was getting ready to have the baby, but I also unknowingly, was getting ready to launch a business.
Yeah.
And so that was the part of it. And I became, like I said, my own client and really got to think through all the different design choices that specifically I love serving women too. Just like I feel like women are they are the lifeline and the life givers in this world. And so I love pouring into women who usually are used to thinking of themselves last, in the space. So yeah, it was fun to do that. Yes, in this season, I have been remembering who I am and who I've always been. So really coming back to, as you imagine the little girl self or your child self, it's like, oh, I always did love that, or I always was drawn to that. And so some of those things, just giving yourself permission to let those flow in your home and not worry about if it's on trend or what anybody thinks of it or if it meets the design rules. So I might be a rogue designer in that way to encourage people to do what they want, but find a way to bring it cohesively together so it makes sense in the space. Right now, I've been remembering just some of my soulfulness and the ways that's like, oh, this is why I love animal print. I'm drawn to disco balls and animal print and like loud colors. And I want those things in my space. But also, which is really important, I think, is to listen to your season, like you're saying about, um, we go through our cycles because I also have a home full of younger children that are loud and overstimulating. And so I can't have all the wild designs that I want because I know my brain and theirs functions well when things are calmer. So there's a season too, right? Like there's a time and a place. So the laundry room is fun and wild and the living room is calm. Like, what does it mean to live well? Um, I think I've spent the last few years really diving into that and how our homes support us, but like neurologically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So there's a lot going on inside the walls of our home. And so I've really, within Live Well Design, I've been pulling from different practices like learning the elements of feng shui and how that plays into the home, and learning neurologically, like there's so much research coming out on, neurodiversion, and I'm so passionate about like wanting people to feel safe and held in their space. And so what could bother one person and make them feel really unsettled could be exactly what another person needs. And so really listening to the whole picture for my clients and for anybody. And I really think about that anywhere I go. Like if I'm out at a restaurant or a community event, I'm thinking about like how is everybody experiencing this space in this moment, and how can we serve the greater community well? So my brain can't turn off with that. So as far as living well, I mean, the five senses can support us. In our home, we focus on smell, right? And so for everything from the hand soap to the dish soap to the laundry detergent to any essential oils that we're diffusing, these smells, if you're bringing in fresh flowers or opening the windows and have a plant outside, all of those things play into our well-being every day. Sight, something that brings you joy and energy and life. And so having things in your home that you love. Wasn't even a client. I just went to a friend's home, and I could tell she is just so excited about this artist. And so I thought, you've got to have this artist in your home because the way it energizes you. And it wasn't my style of art at all. I would not put that in my home, but we have to listen to our bodies and listen to ourselves of what is it that helps you feel inspired and feel truly, I would say, reflected, in your home. You want to see yourself because that's your space. So using your home as a reflection of you and anyone you're sharing the space with, because that matters too, not just you.
Can you kind of speak to that authority piece where I think that people are like, oh, wait, I can get rid of this, or I should let this go, or I should bring this into
yes. Yes.
It's almost like you're playing a therapist.
I am. I know. Well, that is. I've been known, my husband has said, like, I just imagine you walking into coffee with people and then they change their whole lives because of the way you're encouraging them. And it truly is. Like, I live well, that name it really embodies who I am. I just desire for every person on the planet to live their best life and to live their utmost. And so interior design is one way I can help with that, but it's really an avenue. I'm going to walk with clients to show them what is possible and how they can experience freedom, right? And so I have an example of a client who they're a military family and they had traveled, and so they had had these pieces collected globally, but they just had a bunch of stuff like shoved into the office and they didn't know what to do with it. And so I said, just dream with me. Tell me what you love. What do you want? And it was almost like, I don't know how I could have this because it was just a white builder grade home. And we created like permission for her to color drench the room and make this dark, moody library with candles and antiques. And I saw her just come alive. It was like, oh, I finally can have what I want. It's like, absolutely. And you need it because of the way that you're serving our country and you're serving your family. And so this is your space to come in and get refreshed and then go back out and, pour out into the world. And I believe, and I feel that that's the key part for people to own that confidence like you're talking about and that authority is really leaning into their truth, I suppose, like leaning into who they really are unapologetically, which I think we're collectively getting better at. But I think that's where I have the hope that like our world will grow and be beautiful and bright and abundant as we do that. And we don't need permission, but we just need to do it, which can be scary. And so, yeah, I was in a conversation the other day about gray, all the gray in our world. And I know it's going to be torn down. I know it is because people are stepping into their truth. They are. I feel it and it's happening. And so everything around us is going to reflect that soon.
So, what is your truth?
Ooh, good question. What is my truth? Well, honestly, this has been a season of massive evolution for me. I've really been stepping into who I am. Part of that is my age, I would say, and getting into the perimenopausal, I don't care anymore. But also, it has been owning and choosing. It's the choice to say, I'm going to do this, right? It's a choice. And so I just had my birthday not that long ago, and I said, I'm hanging out with my favorite person, me. I love me and I love being with me. But that's a choice. That's hard fought for, and it's important. So for me, my truth is embracing fully who I am and not being worried about disappointing others by appeasing them, which I spent a lot of my life doing. It's giving myself permission to, and that's who's giving permission, myself, right? Like to rest and to be and to notice what I enjoy. When you allow yourself to be fully yourself, then that helps you be more fully yourself. It's like it's feeding you. So that's how I'd encourage anyone to like step into their truth is li- really, it's like very somatic, listening to your body. Like, what is your body telling you? If it's telling you you want a crimson kitchen, then do it. Because there's some, we can trust our bodies, we can trust ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm.